breaking free. Yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression. It's out for liberty. Breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts. We're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting loud, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. We're claiming our land, yeah.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? This is the political cage match where bold ideas win and bad ideas get wrecked. Tonight, somebody's mic's going crazy. Maybe that's you, Avens. Sorry, it sounds like banging or something.
Mine was off. I just turned it on.
Yeah, I had yours off. I was trying to figure who else got it. But all right. So like I said, welcome to Are You Smarter Than a Politician? Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the architecture of federal power. From your paycheck to surveillance to war powers to emergency rule to whether consent still means anything at all. Three notable political minds step into the hot seat to answer the questions most politicians avoid. Who really controls the machine? Get ready, because tonight you decide who is smarter than a politician. Joining us, shockingly, he won last time. This is my brother of another color from another mother. He is the host of the Black Powder Podcast, Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can follow him on X at Black Powder Pod. What is up, Eminem? Marcus Matthews.
Good evening, and it is a pleasure to be on again. Two-time champion Marcus Matthews, the only real libertarian leader and grand wizard of the Wu-Tang Clan Libertarian Caucus. So I want to thank everybody in advance for crowning me the winner again. I jest, but thank you, Free, and especially Terry. And shout out to my homegirl, Amity. It was great hanging out with you guys this past weekend.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Follow-up question. Who has more shirts, you or Joe Hanoush?
That's a tough one. I would say me, because I make my own and sell them. This is available. You can go to our Facebook page and click the link in there, and you can have your own I Am the Only Real Libertarian t-shirt, to which I highly encourage you do so, because it's a great starting talking point about the Libertarian Party, and you know, each one teach one. So let's spread the liberty movement. Get yourself a Only Real Libertarian t-shirt.
You're doing the rhyming thing. Now that Jesse Jackson's dead, are you trying to assume that mantle?
You know what? Shout out to Jesse Jackson and his baby mamas. You know, I know everybody is having some issues behind that, but you know, his heart was in the right place. Maybe not his.
I'm gonna mute you now. If you're gonna talk that level of bullshit on my show, that's crazy talk. Let's move on to somebody that's sensible.
Whoa,
the coolest libertarian, Avens O'Brien. She is the co-founder of Advanced Mycology. That's advancedmyco.com. She's an amazing speaker. She does the Ladies of Liberty Alliance. That's ladiesofliberty.org. You can find her on X at Avens O'Brien and also on Substack at avens.substack.com. How are you tonight, Avens?
I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm also, just so you guys know, there will be kittens randomly running into this screen because I'm fostering 2 kittens, and this is the first time I've ever tried to record in this room. Well, they're here and they're very like obsessed with all of the like the computer and the mic, and so that sound might have been like the cats playing with the microphone. So yeah, this one's Shake, the other one's Fry. You'll see them around.
Excellent. and we went through very serious negotiations, but we'd like to announce this now. You will be sponsoring Tuesday night shows.
Yeah.
So give a shout out. Tell us about your products. Tell us what we'll be plugging on the show.
So Advanced Mycology, our mission is to make meaningful experiences more accessible. And so we are in the psychedelic space. So we sell mushroom grow bags, liquid culture, so that you can grow magical mushrooms in the comfort and privacy and discretion of your own home. And then we this past year, we started releasing basically consumable products. So we have Zoom, which is a chewable tablet. It's an analog of magic mushrooms. So it produces the effects of magic mushrooms, but it's not federally scheduled. And then last month we released Plur. Plur is an analog of MDMA. So it produces the effects of your like Molly experience, but again, not federally scheduled. So we sell it all over the country. So anyway, we have these available for sale on our website. We ship all over the country, and yeah, we are happy to help minds expand. We believe in mind, so it seems to work really well with all. It's very on brand for us as both libertarians and as psychonauts. So yeah. And you can buy our products at advancedmyco.com or zoomtrip.com. It's xumtrip.com. So xumtrip.com.
Yeah, I'm in Florida where everything is hard to get and they make it harder to get every year. But I ordered it. It was delivered very easily to me. But then unfortunately, I lost it in a boating accident. So you know, if anybody from the state to sanitarium is watching this, I lost it in a boat accident.
Tragic.
I didn't try it. Yeah, I didn't try it, and it was amazing. So, you know, I might need to try again, but you know, also might have a boating accident. So,
was that the same boating accident as your Trezor wallet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we libertarians have a lot of tragic boating accidents. We're like the Kennedys in that way.
Yeah, I live in a boating community. It happens like, you know, almost 3 times a day to me. So, yeah. So, no, but we appreciate you coming on as a sponsor, and thank you so much for helping us get the word out and supporting our cause. So
thank you. Then thank you for having me on, because this is always a fun time.
Of course. Thank you. And last but not least, new to the show, Chris Baker. He is the host of Fountainhead Forum. It's on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and you can follow him on X at Fountainhead FM. How are you tonight, Chris?
I'm doing quite well. We've, you know, I've done well over 400 shows, and I've done 100. I've done about 100, over 100 shows about this guy. Some nice person in Argentina gave me this poster. Going back there next month. Love the country. I got to admit, it's kind of weird. I do have a serious man crush on this guy. It's just amazing what he's doing, and I hope we can learn a lot from.
That's how Marcus feels about me. So it's not weird. It's not
it's really, really phenomenal, you know. And one thing Milei does understand, you got to do fun stuff, and you know, I think he'd go for something. I don't know him, but I think he'd go for something like this, and you know. Of course, I do know people. I've certainly talked to plenty of people who do know him, but yes, it's amazing. It's been wild to watch this happen. Yes,
and of course, last but not least, our beautiful producer Terry Batts. I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. How are you tonight, Terry?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? You're doing good. I have an announcement. X is not working, so that means I can't talk to the chat, and that's not a good thing. But chat, just so you know, I am getting your scores and seeing it. I did make a post for everybody to go to YouTube. If you guys could go share that post, I know most of you follow me. I would greatly appreciate it, so everybody knows. I have no idea what's going on with it, but it definitely isn't working. And I sure missed you guys on Friday. I'm so used to getting together with my my show family that every single time I don't get to do it, I get all sad and depressed and everything.
I just heard that if you click on my profile pic, you can get into the X one, but it's not coming up in my feed.
No, not at all.
That's the word on the street. So
Same
click
thing.
on my profile pic, and we'll see if we can get this past 61 viewers. And so
That is so weird.
we might just be talking to ourselves tonight, but that's all right. We recorded and everything. So all right. Cool. And so you can follow me and Terry on X. I am Smarter Game Show. She is Bats T76. You can get our swag at freedomsuperstore.com. I am wearing the Make Anarchy Great Again shirt that I just pulled out of my suitcase, and it appears to be wrinkle-free. Don't take my word for it. But our shorts will be on YouTube at Freedom Uncut. And conventions. We just got back from California. Thank you so much to all the wonderful people out in California, especially Mimi, Lauren, Kara, James, the AV guy, and everybody that's part of LP California, except for Marcus Matthews.
Wow.
This week we will be at the Florida convention. We're doing our live show Friday night in Florida. So if you're a Floridian, please join us then. Then we're hopping on a plane going to Virginia. Then we've got a couple of weeks off. Then we're heading to North Carolina, Texas, and then the national convention. So if you want to come meet freedom lovers, watch the show live, and see contestants put to the test, join us. If you want real change, join your state party, become a delegate, and help shape the national convention. Don't just talk about liberty, live it. And other than that, want to thank our subscribers: Terry, Amity, Ocean Blue, Shirley, Dr. Belay and Lisa, Dan, Chris, Casey, Dave Crans, Jake Day, Phil, Jacob Winograd, who does the Biblical Anarchy podcast, Brent Freeman, who does the Aiming Up podcast and Anarcho Syndicate Clothing, Dan, Papa B, and the great Lars Mapstead. Thank you so much. If you want to subscribe to us on X and not see my show in your feed, you can subscribe on X and get exclusive content. This is your backstage pass. And if you'd like to sponsor our show, email studio@freedomuncut.com. So how many times have I slandered Marcus so far? The over-under is 50. So
we're at a dozen.
Excellent. Let's
hold on a sec. If Avens is going to be posting her or bringing her cats,
there was a purr. There was a purr.
Yeah. And that's cheating. That's tugging at people's heartstrings. I'm gonna go get one of my German shepherds and bring him in here so they can see how beautiful dogs are versus cats.
It's time for ASMR with kittens.
Sorry, Free, but she's cheating already.
They're very, very interested in this, but what's really funny is they're going behind the computer and they keep chasing each other's tails. So at some point, like my entire thing might just like crash down.
So Amity's here. Welcome, Amity. I haven't seen you in forever. Mike's here. Welcome, Mike. There's my buddy Chris. Did I say Chris's name when I was saying the sponsors? Chris was a sponsor or a subscriber. Oh yeah, happy Fat Tuesday. I'll be fat after these tacos. What's up, Dan? Fat Tuesday. Woo tosses beads. What's up, everybody? And I'm in the wrong thing here. What's up, Shirley, joining us from across the pond, another subscriber. Chris says he's been fiending for the show. First 200 points to my favorite libertarian, the dollar store M&M.
Wow.
Mike reposted. Thank you, Mike. Marcus's face is behind the logo. That's on purpose. Yep. 200 points to my bestie.
That's
Marcus,
to try to get
out.
him to center on his screen. That's how you're like, get over to the center. There you go.
Fine.
Casey's in the chat. Casey, can I make that bigger and just block that whole square? Text me if that's a thing. Joe has one yellow Joe Hanu shirt. That fun fact, that shirt started off white, just FYI.
Oh.
First 150 for the foster kittens. Oh, there we go. Here we
Yeah,
go
see?
the kitty stuff. 200. Oh, here we go. Yep. More for the kiddies. Yep. 200 for the not federally scheduled psychedelic sponsorship. That's amazing. Yep. Rob Yates is here. What's up, Rob? Rob's running for LNC chair. We missed you this weekend, Rob. 100 to Marcus, since we're going to Libya together next month.
Yeah, we're about to get us some.
200 if you can put a light bulb in your mouth and light it, Chris. Amity reposted. Thank you, Amity. Malay is a vaudeville act. Yeah, there's going to be some Malay hate in the chat tonight. Hi to Terry. Yeah, we missed Terry. Everybody missed Terry. The Lancaster Libertarians here. Welcome. Terry says hi. And 200 to everyone braving life in California.
We're here to fight the good fight.
And 200 to Chris for interviewing me for chair first. You should all vote for me for LNC chair. Ray's here. What's up, Ray? 6'7". Marcus is the only real liberal. Here we go with Casey. What's up, Casey? Wow. 100 to Avens for the cat.
See?
Avens may have won already.
Yeah.
We could just cancel the rest of the show. Now we have some cat information here. 200 to Marcus for Freeze, totally uncalled for race. I said nothing racist at all.
It's Black History Month.
He's going to ask for 40 acres and a mule in a second, and it's going to derail the whole show. 200 to Avens for the legal drugs. And yeah. All right, so that's that. Let's jump into it. I also want to talk about this. We are doing a fundraiser for You Are the Power, March 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern. And Terry and I are so excited to be hosting this 3-hour extravaganza supporting You Are the Power. Our buddy Spike Cohen takes on a gauntlet of formidable friends with plenty of suspense, chaos, and laughs for an amazing cause. Join us March 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're starting an hour earlier, so note that. First, we reinvented political shows. Next, we reinvented political debates. Now we're reinventing fundraisers. Let's see who our first 4 challengers will be. And I got to hit another button. And there we go. Do you see how 4 popped up there? That was pretty impressive. Casey's going to get me in the chat for that. First up, comedian, author, and producer Lou Perez. Next up, author and speaker Dwayne Lester. Third up, Australian director and author Topher Field. And last but not least, the amazing Lars Mapstead, tech entrepreneur, voting rights activist, and he was a 2024 Libertarian candidate for president. So we're super excited about that. Join us then. Please share this out. If X is working and if everything's working, subscribe to us on YouTube. That would really be super helpful. And tonight's winner will get, peace prizes don't matter anymore because Trump ruined them all. So we made our own peace prize. And this is the Are You Smarter Than a Peace Prize? So our champion will get that. We also have on the prize shelf Mike Johnson's signature cologne, Swamp Ass, as well as the Ayn Rand Fountainhead teddy bear. And if you want to annoy your friends and neighbors at home, we have a home edition. Also, I know which one Chris will pick if he wins this, but we have our assorted bobbleheads, including the ever so handsome Javier Milei. We've got Amash up there, Ron Paul, Thomas Sowell. There's a whole bunch of them there. Also, we have the ICE agent training kit. Everything you need to know in 30 minutes to become a real ICE agent. They don't train them at all, so we're doing a training kit. They get an official ICE badge, a Guns for Dummies book, and an honorary GED degree, and a bunch of different disguises so they don't embarrass their friends and neighbors. Also, we have Drone Wars, the new game, Empire Overkill, Endless Wars, collect resources, topple regimes. And if you're getting a little loopy like me and Marcus are, and you want to power through the fog, we have Trump's endorsed Orange Mush anti-dementia formula. We also, if you want to get action figures that do nothing, we have inaction figures. And of course, nobody will take this piece of shit. So somebody's got to take this tonight. It's the Trump nativity set. We paid a major tariff to get these pieces of junk. So please take them off our hands. And of course, we've got the Lego Killdozer because nobody talks about the Killdozer more than me and Casey do. Rules are, I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. Rules are, you can debate each other, filibuster, veto, tariff, redistribute an answer. And of course, everybody starts off with negative 500 points because the government gets paid first. Here's how scoring works. Chat controls the score, give or take up to 100 points from the contestants. And because the government believes in crony capitalism, the subscribers can give or take up to 200 points. And because they pay me, so their vote matters more. Nuking a score. Any former contestant can nuke a score, taking it down 1,000 points. Here's the twist. A contestant can only be nuked one time, so make it count. Lightning round. We lost Chris. So let's see. Yep, there, he's back. All right, so we'll send Terry to the back. She controls the chat and the score. Make her life extremely difficult. Thank you, Terry. All right. Marcus, to you. Category is prices, paychecks, and inflation. Has inflation become a hidden tax imposed without a vote?
You know, I'm going to start off with the most used word with your questions, and it's absolutely. The thing about inflation, and it all boils down to this. It's federal government policy, the Federal Reserve, and a lot of times everybody just wants to ignore the idiosyncrasies
Not a word.
Yeah, it is. It's ebonics. You know, if you're going to be the translator in my answers, I'm just going to type them out and just send them over to you in the private chat. But anyway, inflation basically has been like taking everybody's money, and that is my final answer.
All right. We'll see if anybody understood that. And
I'm just getting warmed up.
Avens, to you. The second hour is really fun with you. Avens, to you. Is monetary policy more powerful than tax policy in shaping your paycheck?
They're both deeply influential in how your paycheck gets shaped because, like, as we said, inflation is a tax, and so it's all taxes. Like it's all government taking our money for things that for nothing, for like just hey, we're just gonna take that little for absolutely nothing. So both deeply shape your paycheck because at the end of the day, honestly, sorry, the cat. There's a kitten trying to knock over a light. The one thing though is that taxes. There are occasionally ways to avoid taxes. There is pretty much no way to avoid inflation unless you move your money into other currencies. But that's a rough one specifically because the fact is you can do some very clever maneuvering with your taxes and write-offs and whatever and deductions and things like that. So I would say that inflation is one of those taxes you can't avoid, and it affects everybody across the board. And it's also applied more evenly because the fact is taxes will, there's progressive tax where people are taxed at different rates, but specifically inflation is going to affect everybody absolutely, particularly people with savings, but also just everybody will be fucked by government's monetary policy.
All right. And if you guys don't mind, if you can mute when you're not answering, we're having all sorts of interference. And
I'm sorry, my kittens are
yeah. No worries.
Knocking with everything.
It's not. Yeah, I think it's pretty much across the board. Marcus, I can hear him flashing gang signs at people. There's a lot going on here. So
hey, chill out, cuz, before I come over there and smoke your ass. You know.
All right.
My inner gangster came out. My bad.
There we go. Chris, to you. Should America? As soon as I say that, you cough into the mic. All right. Chris, to you, should Americans be free to use alternative currencies without federal interference?
I do want to say Topher Field's been on my show. He was a great guest. But anyway, alternative currencies, definitely. And really, there's not much you can do to stop people, although they try to make it hard to exchange these things and all these know your customer things. I mean, some people are getting to the point where they conduct their lives in various cryptocurrencies. But yeah, I definitely say be able to use alternative currencies because they're stable. But they're certainly doing what they can to make it harder and harder to get to them. I mean, people are always going to be using alternative currencies. I mean, certainly in Venezuela, they're using a lot of crypto. In a lot of countries, they already use dollars anyway, even though, because really we have inflation here, but trust me, Americans don't know what inflation really looks like.
Right. All right. Marcus, to you. Category is taxes in the IRS. Should federal taxation shift away from income and toward voluntary consumption?
I was actually thinking about this today because yesterday I spent a lot of money on stuff trying to catch presidential sales at Best Buy and Ashley Furniture. And it just, I was like, what would the government do if their funds their so-called needed funds weren't being met by consumption tax? And I was like, I think I'm fine with that because they need to live within their means, just like every single American has to live within their means. And with that being said, I think we should have a consumption tax because when that comes around, I'm not going to buy shit because I want to starve this government to death.
All right. All I heard you say is that you spent money on Ashley Madison yesterday.
I don't even know what that is. That sounds like some Blanco stuff. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right,
Avens is already cheating. Look at it.
Avens, to you. Should tax audits require prior judicial approval?
Wow, that's a question I didn't expect to get. I'm sorry. So is it like basically like a war? Wait, I'm just like prior tax.
Yeah, like they can't enforce things without a judicial approval or a warrant, and like trying to get rid of the administrative state.
I love that.
Thank you. I write these questions.
I hadn't actually thought about that before, but yeah, okay, yeah. You need a warrant to like audit me? Like I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that before, and thank you for bringing a new idea into my head just now.
You're welcome. That's what I bring to the table.
And you're kidding. There you go.
There we go. A compliment and a kitten. This is how you win the game, people, right here. All right, Chris, to you. Is the current tax code designed more for control than revenue?
I would say absolutely, positively yes at this point because of all these silly deductions and ways that they're trying to do social engineering. I mean, taxation has always been about social engineering to a certain degree. Oh, we don't want people to smoke, so let's tax cigarettes. We don't want people to drink beer, so let's tax beer. So it's always been this way. I mean, the taxation has been this type of social engineering. It's it's definitely, I think, used more for control.
Excellent. All right, Marcus, back to you. Category is tariffs and trade. Are tariffs simply taxes that voters don't see directly? You're muted.
I would say no, because if you don't see how the cost of goods is going up after these tariffs have been imposed, and if you don't see that government policy affects your wallet every single day, then you're the intended product of the public education system and the chosen voter of the duopoly. And it's just simply ridiculous that we still have to have this debate in 2026 and people are still siding with their teams after 100+ years of failure, debt, and making life more expensive for you. Why not give a libertarian a shot?
That's a good pitch. I like that. Avens, to you. Should presidents be barred from imposing tariffs without Congress?
Can we just end this question with, can presidents be barred? I'm into that.
I'm with you.
You know, it's kind of like the Constitution, where the Congress shall make no law, would just stop there. Like, we just, you know, I'm sorry, the question was about tariffs. The executive branch has no business doing anything financial. Like, if we're going to have a government, then constitutionally the Congress controls the purse strings. And so, imposition of tariffs already bad, but should be a congressional thing, not a presidential thing.
I agree. Chris, to you. Do trade wars ultimately harm American workers?
I think they mostly do, because it seems like a lot of these things are passed on to the disproportionately impact the workers more than they impact the companies. It's somehow it's funny how taxes always seem to fall to the bottom, so to speak. It's really wild. Although tariffs are certainly a lesser evil when it comes to taxes. I mean, I'd rather have tariffs than have property taxes or income taxes. One thing they basically getting rid of in Argentina, they actually had export tariffs, so you'd actually pay a tax to ship stuff out, which is the only country I know of that's ever done that. So yeah,
no, we do that. We do that.
We tax people to ship stuff out of America.
We do.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, generally what's going to happen is people just aren't going to bother to ship it out at all. They're just not going to produce it, so it hurts everybody. Taxes always hurt the worker, but some definitely hurt them worse than others. I mean, if the federal government was down to the absolute minimum that it should be, I wouldn't be opposed to having a tariff to fund some of that. It's probably more legitimate than some other things than other taxes. So, yeah.
All right. Marcus, back to you. Category is federal spending and debt. Is the national debt a constitutional failure?
No, it's not a constitutional failure. It's an American people failure, because they don't hold their elected representatives accountable. They just vote for these people based on what letter they have behind their name on a ballot. Nobody gives a shit about the debt until it completely implodes this country, and then it'll be way too late. And for the American people to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, and don't care that just last year it was like $2 trillion added to the debt, and nobody blinks an eye. And it's just ridiculous that, again, you keep giving these people the opportunities because you don't want the other side to win, when you have a legitimate solution in the libertarian platform that will bring down the debt, that will rein in government spending, but you're too scared. Stop being scared, America. Vote libertarian.
I like it. Are you gonna answer every question like that? I like it. That should be the end of everything.
Vote libertarian.
Yeah. All right, Avens, to you. Should balancing the budget rely solely on spending cuts?
As opposed to raising taxes? Absolutely. The balancing the budget should just be like, all right, we're just gonna zero. The spending cuts are the way to balance the budget. There is no need for more taxes, and we should be doing everything we can to reduce taxes. So that would be the case. Yes.
All right. Chris, to you. Should lawmakers be barred from re-election after voting for budget deficits?
I've got to say no, because there could be various emergency situations that would require a budget deficit. certainly, and you're saying, and so if they vote for one budget deficit but one budget surplus, are you going to, disqualify them? I really don't like this whole idea. It certainly is. Maybe if you had a repeated pattern, for example, but if you have certain emergencies like, well, the Revolutionary War, there were deficits there. So I don't like the whole idea of automatically qualification. Although in theory, voting doesn't seem to hold them accountable. But anyway, they'll figure out ways to hide the deficits. Then is what they'll do, which is, play numbers games that make it look like there isn't a deficit when there actually is one. So yeah, I'm not liking this.
Yeah, interesting point. Marcus, to you. Social Security and retirement is the category. Should younger workers be allowed to opt out of Social Security?
Absolutely. And, I'm using the most common refrain on this particular game show, and absolutely emphatically, because Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. And it counts on you believing that government taking your money and giving it back to you in a lesser return than you could do in a stock market or, other types of investments. If you were to take that money and you know how to spend your money or save your money or invest your money better than the government. The government sucks. Vote libertarian.
I love that. I just I'm gonna know when your answer is done by that for the whole rest of the night. All right, Avens, to you. Should Congress be prohibited from borrowing against Social Security funds?
Again, can we cut this question to should Congress be prohibited? And we would just be good. We'd just be good. Yes. Congress should be prohibited from moving funds that are allocated to things, and they should stop fucking stealing our money.
All right. I like it. Chris, to you. Should retirement savings be privately owned rather than federally managed?
Absolutely, positively. Yes. Whose money is it? I mean, I don't know why I would ever want my retirement savings to be managed by somebody else. There's no, so I often say, if you believe in Social Security, you'll believe in anything. It's so wild that an allegedly free society would adopt a program that was initially conceived by Otto von Bismarck, who was Hitler's biggest hero. I mean, Hitler loved Bismarck, and Hitler loved Bismarck because of stuff like Social Security. It's how this ever got over on any intelligent people. I have no idea. It's truly remarkable. It really is.
All right. Speaking of Bismarcky, to you, Marcus. Oh no, enter scores. So let's check out. I think me and you might be the only two that got that joke. All right, let's check out what's going on in the chat. Rob's got 113 to Avens for animating the government taking our money with her hands. Yeah, that's some amazing pantomime there. 50 to Marcus for his idiosyncrasies. It's something. It's idio. Yeah. -4 from Marcus for thinking today, but +9 for trying to catch sales. Yeah. That's a net 5 to you, Marcus. Just take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah. The power to barter will remain as long as things have a value. Alternative currencies for the win. 100%. -100. Marcus wants more taxes. What a great question about judicial approval for a tax audit. 1,000 to free and 200 to Avens for the correct answer. Mike's here. What's up, Mike? 100 to Chris, taxes control. 200 to Chris, taxes used for social control. 100 to my fellow contestants because they don't have the advantage of kittens. That's fair. 100 to Marcus for being muted. -99 for unmuting. So you got a net 1 for muting yourself there. That's
here you
very
go.
fair.
Here's your net 1 right here, buddy.
That's very fair. 200 to Avens. Can presidents be barred? Yes. Minus 200 to Chris for thinking Argentina out-corrupted the U.S. government. Taxation is theft. Balance the budget to 0. 200 to Avens. 200 to Marcus. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. 100 to Marcus for opting out of Social Security. Rev Rocks is here. What's up? 200 to Avens. Congress should stop fucking stealing our money. And 100 to Chris. If you believe in Social Security, you'll believe in anything. That was a great comment. Absolutely. And I forgot to add the scoreboard. So let me do that. And I wish I could hit the drum roll and the wrong buttons at the same time, because that would make it a little bit more suspenseful. But this is a shock. This is absolutely a shock.
Here we go. Oh, wow. What the hell, bro?
Avens and the Kitties way out in front, 11-13.
The haters are here.
Yeah. Chris ahead of Marcus, which was also to be expected. Chris at 499, and Marcus unmuting and muting himself got him 256. Marcus, you're in third place so far. I assume you would expect this. What do you think so far?
I think this is a whole cartload of horse plop. This is some bullshit of the highest order. I've given some great answers, and I'm just getting warmed up. So stick with us, people. You people better stick with us. This is Black History Month, so I can say you people.
All right. Chris, first time on the show. You're in second place ahead of Marcus. What do you think so far?
It's fine with me. I mean, yeah, I often wish I'd had some of the other people's questions, but life is life. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Avens has been on my show too. So yeah, lots of good people here. Yep.
What does he mean, other people?
Oh, here we go. You're gonna owe him a mule and 40 acres by the end of this. Avens first place. I don't think anybody's surprised. How are you feeling so far?
So far, so good. The kittens are just like all up in my shit. So this is funny. But no, this is a reminder that at the end of the day, the people are looking for positivity. The people are looking for something to vote for, not what to vote against. And so, in this case, it's kittens, and and that's what we have to remember is we have Shake just hanging out on my lap. We have Fry, who just keeps being everywhere, and that's how we got to do. You got to remember to keep it positive. Remember to give people something to vote for, and and when you have abundance, share that. Not in a socialist redistributive way, but in a philanthropic, expand the social currency sort of way. And so I would like to also send another 100 points to each of my fellow contestants, because they're operating with a lack of cat.
Y'all need to get Jerry Weather.
That's a literal question right there. Literal statement.
I don't think it's really a hot take, Avens, to realize that people on the internet like kittens. I think Facebook discovered that in the 90s. I think that was their whole business model.
To get Carrie Wedler and her wonderful dog on. So yeah.
All right, let's jump back into it here. Marcus, to you. Categories: surveillance and privacy. Should federal agencies always obtain a warrant before accessing digital data?
Federal agencies should get a warrant to go to work in the morning, let alone to spy on you. I don't understand how we let the government become omnipotent above the republic. I think it happened after 9/11 when government was like, hey, look what happens if you don't give us more power. So yes, they should have a warrant to go take a piss in the morning if they want to, as far as vote libertarian.
Oh boy, you pulled a head fake on me there, but I got you. All right,
I crossed you up.
Yeah. All right, Avens, to you. Should Americans be notified after being surveilled but not charged?
Absolutely. at the end of the day, we're all being surveilled. And so like, at this point, you like once Snowden's reports came out, you should basically just be like, all right, I am being spied on by the government. But yeah, we should absolutely be informed of what the government knows about us. And yeah, when I was like 20, I filed a Freedom of Information Act, like request on myself, because I was like, what the fuck are you guys, what do you know about me? And I think everybody should get that. We should like literally, like, if the government's going to be doing something, it should be like informing all of us about what information they have, and then we should be getting rid of it. Like, we should be going, hey, we're like once everybody knew, like everybody knows that, then they will be much more like bothered by it, and then maybe they'll do something about it.
All right. Yeah. 80% of the world's communications go through us and are surveilled. That's a crazy stat. Chris, to you. Has counterterrorism permanently weakened privacy protections?
Well, I don't know if anything could be said to be permanent, but they certainly have weakened privacy protections. I mean, it seems. This government will eventually collapse, and then what happens? All that information. Where does all that information go? That's a good question. What happens to all the servers and all the hard drives? It's a pretty wild question to think about it. But I don't think you can say it's permanent, but it certainly had a bad influence. It really has went downhill ever since the World Trade Center, which just was, in so many respects, the end of America. Sometimes I think we ought to just go back to the way it was in the 90s, but I don't know if we can ever get back to that point. So yeah, and I remember people, who told me, you get a cell phone, it's a tracking device. Yep. And they were right.
Yep. All right, Marcus, to you. Category is ice and due process. And I'm not talking about vanilla ice here. So you're going to have to pay attention. Okay. Yeah. All right. Should deportation orders require independent judicial review?
Absolutely. You like that one? Absolutely. Government has no rights. Government has the orders the people of the republic give them to execute, and that has somehow got flipped on its head. Going back, like I said in my last answer, to 9/11. Where government just basically thinks it could do whatever it wants. And that is the whole our current government is like the antichrist of coming against liberty. It doesn't care about your rights anymore. It doesn't care, about I'm digressing a little bit away from the deportation or whatever. But if we're going to have specific categories for people, and the government says these people are different than these people, eventually that shit will come to you. So if they're here on American soil and we can't offer them due process, what the hell we don't have a republic anymore. Vote libertarian.
All right. Avens, to you.
I'm helping you out tonight, Free.
Appreciate you, man. I think we're one answer away from you, one beer away from you answering everything indubitably. I think that's where we're at with the show so far.
I only have one left.
All right. Avens, to you. Can mass deportation policies respect full due process?
No. No, because we also, even if you were to create conditions for, you were to say here's the conditions for this mass deportation. The fact is that every individual has a right to go through a process to determine their own individual case. And so no, there's no due process when you talk about mass something.
I agree. Chris, to you. Should local law enforcement refuse warrantless immigration cooperation?
Absolutely. I think local law enforcement has, they have to have their own sovereignty and be able to do what they think is right. That is one of the one of the few good things left about America is local law enforcement still does have a lot of power, and it hasn't been usurped like it has been in some other countries. I mean, the county sheriff is still a pretty powerful person. So yes, I definitely am glad, that local law enforcement, not to mention these are, as the saying goes, unfunded mandates. You're telling them to enforce the laws, but you're not paying them or anything like that. So yes, local law enforcement definitely needs to have it. And of course, local law enforcement knows the people, they know the community, they know the area. So yeah, the whole thing with ICE is just a mess right now.
I agree. We appreciate everybody that's sticking with us here. Apparently there's some major internet outages across the country and YouTube's having problems. Bounce to a different platform. We're on X, YouTube, and Rumble if you want to find us. And we're at Freedom Uncut on YouTube and Rumble if you want to find us there. And at Smarter Game Show on X if you want to find us. Marcus, to you. Categories FBI and domestic policing. Should qualified immunity for federal officers end?
Absolutely. Qualified immunity is not a law. It is a made-up thing by a judge. I think it was back in the 60s. And for the government to use qualified immunity as a method to impinge on the Bill of Rights is just astounding to me. That that government can say, oh, we were scared, so we shot. There was a guy, I think it was in Pennsylvania, butt naked, and the cops ended up shooting this guy because they were in fear for their life. There was no way on God's green earth he had a weapon other than he was a black guy, so that mask. I'll stop right there. But they ended up killing this guy, shooting him, and they claimed qualified immunity, and it was granted. And I don't we're all in the same line, in the government tyranny line, and eventually that tyranny is going to come to you. So for anybody that supports qualified immunity is a traitor to this republic.
We didn't say it.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I did that intentionally because you're getting too comfortable, and I'm not getting enough points here. Give me some points, and then I'll start vote libertarian.
Oh my god! All right, Avens, to you.
Wait. What's going on there? No, I'm sorry.
The kittens are just hanging out on my lap, like licking each other. They've just gotten very comfortable.
All right, Avens, to you. Has mission creep
Yes.
redefined federal police authority?
Yes. Yes is a complete sentence, as is no. And in this case, yes.
All right, you're just going with the cats now. It's just an all cat strategy is really what's going on. All right, Chris, to you. Should the FBI face independent annual constitutional audits? You're muted.
I'm naturally wondering after Marcus's story were the cops afraid he was going to whip him with his dick or what? I mean,
Oh, here we go.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, but anyway, so crap. What was that question?
It was, should the FBI face independent annual constitutional audits? Are they being
yeah, that's not a bad idea. I don't know what I don't know what they'd audit for, but yeah, not a bad idea at all. It always comes down to the question of who polices the police, and that's part of the problem is the police isn't policed. So I would have maybe you could have pick one random state government to audit the FBI or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Although really the FBI just, I don't even know why we have an FBI. We really didn't have any federal law enforcement at one point, or we had very little. It's just, this is something slowly where all of these agencies have gotten bigger. You know, they handle more local crimes and stuff like that. And I'm wondering why.
All right. Marcus, to you. Category is criminal justice reform. Should civil asset forfeiture be abolished entirely?
Absolutely. Civil asset forfeiture, you know, they sold it as a good thing because it was the original intent was to go after drug dealers and their profits. And, you know, you can say what you want about that. The drug war has been a complete failure. But there was, I remember reading a story about Oklahoma State troopers having credit card readers in their patrol cars. This is no bullshit. Look this up. And they were actually taking people's credit cards and ATM cards and running it through their credit card readers and looking at their balances. Here in California, there's a story about a guy who won big in Reno. CHP was patrolling after he crossed the state line, and they pulled him over and they took his winnings. There was another guy in Oklahoma that took some church donations. It was over $15,000, and they took that from him. If you're okay with the government taking your fellow citizens' money without due process, without a judicial warrant, and then making you fight tooth and nail, incurring attorney expenses to get back what's rightfully yours, you need to move to North Korea. Vote libertarian.
It's back. It's back.
It's back.
All right. Avens, to you. Should all nonviolent federal drug offenses be decriminalized?
I got the question. My question.
It's almost like I knew you were going to be here.
Yeah, like absolutely. And when we say decriminalization, I mean no fucking laws on this subject. But yeah, like there should be no federal or state laws on non-violent drug crime whatsoever. Like that, it's just full stop.
All right.
Say perhaps to drugs.
There we go. Chris, to you. Is the death penalty incompatible with limited government?
It is because there's no way to correct mistakes with the death penalty, and this has happened. Where right now, you know, with the whole Robbie Roberson case here in Texas, where this guy is probably innocent, but he's on death row, and they keep issuing stays of execution. But I just wish they would, you know, just put these people in life row. And it seems to me that's why a lot of people favor the death penalty, is because they want to see innocent people get killed. I mean, they don't want anybody having any possibility of getting out. Yeah, I absolutely think that, you know, and also having, you know, my dad used to count the collection at church. Yeah, that's pretty awful. I mean, you know, he might have as much as $3,000, and he took it to the bank immediately, and they had like a key where they could do a night deposit. Just, you know, yeah, you don't want to have, you can have that kind of money in a church collection. It's because a lot of people just throw in cash. It's, yeah, definitely. That's wild. But it doesn't shock me. Yeah, people have cash and they just steal it.
Yeah. All right. Marcus, to you. Should nonviolent offenders automatically regain firearm rights?
The right to defend yourself is not to be regulated by the government. It's to be regulated by your creator. There is no reason on God's green earth that you should not have the right to defend yourself. As far as nonviolent felons, that's an absolute. And even with violent felons, you know, I'm a 2A absolutist. I think everybody has the right and should have the ability to defend themselves how they see fit. Now, if you're a criminal, you're out there doing criminal shit, harming other people, then the full force of justice should be placed upon you. But if you paid your debt to society I think you should have the right to defend yourself because you may have some ops out there, and you should vote libertarian.
All right. Avens, to you. Should victimless crimes be removed from the federal code?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There should just, the state is not a victim, and therefore, like, if there is not a person that can be like identified as the actual like victim in a crime, that it's not a crime. It shouldn't be a crime federally, like on a state level, on a municipal level. Like these are not crimes. These are made up regulations by government to control people.
So I was thinking about this when I wrote the question, but like, wouldn't it be cool if they got rid of all the victimless crimes at the federal level, and then the states had to compete on which victimless crimes they wanted to make crimes, and then people would decide where they wanted to live based on that?
I mean, that's the basic principle of the whole idea of having, like, you know, states and then the federal government, like the federal government being as minimal as possible, and then states doing, you know, various things slightly differently, and then enabling us all to kind of like do that great experiment. Like that was, you know, that used to be something everybody talked about, this idea that, like, you know, Texas and California are going to do things differently, like Massachusetts, you know, legalizing gay marriage and things like that. Like all of these things were like, the idea was this is a great experiment so that we can see what policy works best. Now, at the end of the day, I shouldn't have to move to be free. Like that just, just quite frankly, like I shouldn't, like if I've, you know, got a home and I'm established somewhere, and then, like, you know, the people of California vote a particular way, I shouldn't have to leave in order to be free, because I should just be free wherever the fuck I am. But at least by like actually having the federal government doing minimalism and enabling the states to kind of make their own decisions, then at least we have some ability to kind of control our own destinies in that regard.
Yeah, I agree, but you can't leave the federal government. So
Exactly.
if given the choice, I'd choose the state route.
Exactly.
All right, Chris, to you. Has federal sentencing authority expanded too broadly?
Well, I don't really know how what do you mean by federal, how much sentencing is done at the federal level? I mean, I don't think the feds should be prosecuting crimes, so I certainly don't think there's anything right that they would do on this. Federal sentencing expanded too broadly. I'm not really sure what this question means. I mean, certainly victimless crimes. By the way, I do want to give out a warning too. Don't go to Brazil. There was an Argentine lawyer who's been arrested there for racism because apparently she made a gesture. So yeah, I don't know what to say about federal. Granted, the feds do a lot more than they should be doing right now. So yeah, I would say lower all this. I mean, there's just no point. Yeah,
that's fair. Marcus, to you. Categories: consistent adult rights. Should sex work between consenting adults be decriminalized?
You know, I'll start off with absolutely, and then I'll refrain from the story I had about you this past weekend, because I don't think that's anybody's business what happens between two consenting adults, or in some cases, from people from Florida, multiple consenting adults at conferences. But I jest. Obviously, if two people enter into a business deal, whatever it may be, and it's not harming anybody else, and that has to have an asterisk from it, because these people need to be tested. Because if you go off and infect somebody else, then I think that possibly could be doing harm. But in essence, I don't care what you're doing in your bedroom or dirty hotel room, and you shouldn't care what I'm doing in my bedroom. And I stay at the finest hotels possible. Vote libertarian.
So kudos to you, because I wrote that question, and then I was going to say, this is not based on your activities in the parking lot at the hotel this weekend, but you got me first. So I'm gonna give you credit for that. So well done. Avens, to you. Should adults have full autonomy over substances, relationships, and personal choices?
Of course. I sometimes I look at these questions and I'm like, really? Why are we even like what's the word I'm looking for? Like even
Because we don't. Because we don't. Is
I
the
know,
reason.
I know. It's like yes, this could be that question right there could just be like the answer to everything, right? That adults should have the right over. I didn't see the exact phrasing of it. I lost the exact phrasing of it where you just wrote there. But yes, like absolutely, we should have complete control over our own bodies, our own bank accounts, our own autonomy, our own everything, our personal choices, our relationships, our lives. Because and also like this is one of those things that I find kind of fun in libertarian discussions. People will often talk about like the personal versus the like personal liberty versus economic liberty, but everything that is a personal choice is also an economic choice and vice versa, because the fact is like who I marry, who I decide, who I marry, who I like, if I decide to have kids, how I decide to have kids, all that stuff, like it's a personal decision, but it's also an economic one. And every single aspect of our lives is both personal and economic. And so I always find it really funny when people go like, oh, I believe in economic liberty, but like I've got no, it's all economic, it's all personal, it's all people, it's all humans, it's all our actions. And as long as we're not imposing upon the liberty of others, we should be able to do what we want. So there you go.
I agree. Chris, to you, does the federal government overstep in regulating private life?
Well, yeah, yes, it definitely does. I mean, certainly regulation of drug use, although the federal government is not nearly as bad as a lot of state and local governments. Absolutely. I mean, all of this stuff on personal behavior should just be out the door. I don't know. I mean, there's so many people out there who just think they know what's best for everybody and want to tell everybody else what to do. And it's just and I don't know where that comes from. But I guess it's just, they're bored, so they want to run somebody else's life, and largely because they often can't run their own.
I agree. Legislative morality. Enter your scores in the chat if you have not done so already. Let's jump in the chat and see what's going on. It's hopping now, so the outage may be over, hopefully. 10 to Avens for mentioning Anthropic, the best AI right now. 100 to Marcus for everything warrants, LOL. 200 Marcus, government has no rights. 200 Marcus, government is the antichrist of liberty. I like that. Rex said the Russian bots found us. That's probably true. They might not even be Russian. Jericho, we see you, bud. Casey says, remember World Trade Center 7. HVAC soldiers here. What's up? Test, my Roku's acting up. Yeah, that might be part of the outage. 200 Marcus, Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Minus 200 to Chris for thinking local law enforcement is not usurping power on the daily. They shoot people for misnomers, bro. Remember Serpico. 200 Marcus for trying to make free uncomfortable. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Minus 200 Marcus for begging for points. That's fair. 200 to Marcus for ending qualified immunity. Minus 100 to Chris for the mute. 50 back for not being the first one. 200 Marcus for qualified immunity. 200 to Marcus because civil asset forfeiture is theft by government. 200 to Avens, no law for drugs. 200 to Marcus. 200 to Marcus for the right to defend yourself. 200 to Marcus, everyone has the right to defend themselves. Minus 200 to Marcus. Oh, D's here. What's up, D? For slowly breaking down Eric and subliminally forcing him to feel guilty for his pellet smoker.
Only commies use pellet smokers.
Gravionics is here. 100 to Marcus for knowing what absolutist means. He doesn't know what it means, but I'll allow the points. He doesn't know what half the words he says means. 200 to Avens, no victim, no crime. 99 to Avens. 200 to Avens. 200 Marcus, sex work between two consenting adults in the parking lot at the convention is not a crime. Good for you, Marcus. 300 Chris for vague answers. 100 to Terry for putting up with our nonsense, I'm assuming. Brent's here. What's up, Brent? Check out the Aiming Up podcast. and Anarcho Syndicate Clothing. Brent's a good dude and a subscriber. 200 Avens by fellow mycologist here. Yep, check out the podcast and the art. 200 to Marcus, the only real libertarian answer, nobody's business. Welcome, Liberty Shamrocker. 200 to Marcus's pick from the convention over the weekend. I assume that was on his OnlyFans with the one subscriber. 200 to Marcus, parking lot friendship bromance points to Marcus. I understand your appearance tonight a lot more now. I hate all of that. I hate every one of those words. 200 Avens, your own life, labor, fruits of your labor, complete adult autonomy. Mad Dog's here. What's up, Mad Dog? Mad Dog had a great space with Grumpy Gnome with Spike last night. That was a really good one. Check that out. 200 Marcus for having a sweet shirt. Oh, no, I would not have given you the plug if you were going to compliment his one shirt.
Sweet.
Minus 100 to anyone who hasn't liked the show. Appreciate that. 100 to everyone, since Larry Sharp is going to be on the ASTAP You Are the Power fundraiser. And make sure you're following Dee, and she does excellent VA stuff. That's my VA lady on X and all the platforms. And let's check out the scoreboard here. Oh, this is some bullshit right here. This is just
What?
this is absolutely wrong. Marcus jumps out into the lead, 23-56. Must be the Black History Month thing, and then he just dabbed and makes it even worse. Avens slipped to second place with a lot of twos, and then Chris with 11:49. Let's go back to it. Marcus, I'm gonna remove you from the screen. The category is power and incentives. Marcus, should systems be designed assuming worst case leaders?
Yes. First of all, I want to say Avens is about to show her kittens a lot more coming up in this next round. So just be prepared for that. But it's sad that you would even think about the worst case leaders, because that just goes to show how far I would hope it's a republic has gone down the shithole, where you need to design a system to recuperate from bad choices. And, with that being said, America makes a lot of bad choices in presidents, and you've seen them for the last 10 or so. Has it all been back to Kennedy? I think Kennedy was our last decent president. But if you need to design a system for the worst case scenario, which is on the surface, it's not a bad idea, but that goes to your choices. So with those choices, you should vote Libertarian.
Point of something, personal privilege, jump in, whatever. I want to add to that one, and I don't know. I don't know which rule I'm allowed to use to do that.
Go ahead.
There's that line that's like never vote to give your ally power you wouldn't want your worst enemy to have. And the fact is, like, government itself, Marcus, is like, it's inherently corruptible. Like it just is. The idea of like a system of legitimized force is inevitably going to lead to some people trying to take advantage of it. And so I get like, oh, it really sucks if like it means that like we have to, like, if our choices say that we need to do that. But at the end of the day, like, that was like the way that government was theoretically designed by the founders, and how it should be in general is the idea is that if you are giving people legitimized force, violent, like the legitimized ability to enact violence upon each other, to enforce certain things, right? If you do that, then you really need to be profoundly careful and never be like, oh, well, hopefully everyone will like just behave, like treat it well. Like the point is that even if it sounds awful, it's like, no, like I have to assume that the worst person possible is going to get this power, because they always do. And so yeah, I'm with you on, I wish it wasn't that way, but the fact is, like, we absolutely need to design systems, especially systems in which there is like the areas of redress and recourse are so far removed from individual people, we need to design those systems assuming the worst, the most corruptible, and just everything like that, because that's what happens when you give people power over one another.
I concur. I concur with Avens 100%, and she could show her kittens and get 200 plus points from that, and I won't be salty at all.
They've decided to leave me, so and right after we had a whole conversation about sex work legalization, I was like, look, I'm getting points for my pussies, whatever, but no, nothing, they're gone now. They've left me because like fickle little beasts, I didn't pay them for cuddles, I paid them to leave.
Word.
Oh boy.
Points for the cats, but not points for your pussy. Yeah.
Thanks for making the joke I've been trying not to make all night. So I appreciate that. Avens, back to you.
Oh.
You answered Marcus's question better than him. Let's see if you can double up. Is concentrated authority inherently dangerous?
I mean, in the context of government, yes. And in general, yes, but a concentrated authority is absolutely inherently dangerous. And it doesn't mean that people can't utilize it in a good way. But the fact is, especially government, like what is government? Government is, and I'm repeating myself from my previous answer, but just in case somebody only gets this clip and not the other one, the fact is like government is like a legitimized use of force. It is saying that I am giving another person power to do something for me, to, enact a law preventing, rape or murder or robbery or whatever. And so so it is inherently dangerous because at the end of the day, every law that we pass, every regulation that we pass is enforced at the point of a gun, even if we don't see it in that moment, even if it's like it takes, a certain amount of time and regulatory woo-ha and like and getting people into jail. But if you eventually, if you evade a law long enough, you will get to the point where the government will believe it's self-justified to shoot and kill you for it. And so that is inherently dangerous, and we have to be profoundly careful with what and who we allow to have that power over us. And it's something that I just think everybody should spend more time thinking about. And obviously libertarians do, but I think that it's something that's like visceral and important for everyone to understand about the nature of government and the nature of power.
Totally agree. Great answer. Chris, to you. If power exists, will it be used?
Yes, power will be used if it exists. It's always used. I mean, and that raises the question of what is power and what does it mean to use power? I mean, if I'm the only person who has a fishing pole in a town of fishermen, then I have power and I can rent out that. Yeah, I think people are always going to use it because they're looking for certain advantages, and I don't know how you really keep it from being used. I mean, there's always these balances. It's always going to be used. So,
okay,
I don't really know. Yeah, that's the best answer I can give. Yeah, so it's
gotcha. All right, Marcus, back to you. The category is executive power. Should executive orders expire unless ratified by Congress?
Absolutely. I have a huge problem with executive orders because, and particularly right now, it's being used to usurp the equal branch of this government in Congress. And it saddens me. It truly does sadden me that we're looking at our government kowtow to the executive branch, specifically Congress, kowtow to the executive branch because they don't want to get primaried. That's the only reason, people like that dude from the senator from North Carolina that's retiring got some balls. There's a lot of people who are standing up to Trump from the Republican side they're basically saying they're retiring from Congress or the Senate. And if that's the only time you can grow a pair to stand up for the principles of liberty, because you're not going to have to face a primary challenger, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. And with the government being able to rein each equal branching. Executive orders should be only valid during that executive's term in office. After that, they should no longer be valid, and you should vote for a libertarian.
All right. Avens, to you. Should Congress have the power to override pardons?
Absolutely not. Like, I'm actually, by the way, like a lot of your questions have been very yes-oriented questions, like, your typical standard libertarian. Absolutely, we should abolish blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this is one of those things where like one constitutionally, this is just like a slam dunk, like the ability to pardon and commute sentences is a presidential right and none other. And it's not something that Congress should be able to fuck with. And we all know exactly, like, I think every single person who is libertarian oriented and informed knows exactly, heard that question. And the first thing we thought of is, wouldn't Congress attempt to override Trump's pardon of Ross Ulbricht? That's like the first thing I think of. And, it applies generally. Like, there are people that Trump has pardoned that I've been like, the fuck, dude? Like, I don't think that person actually deserved a pardon. But at the end of the day, like, I don't get to decide that. Congress doesn't get to decide that. And that is one of the only good things that presidents can do.
Yeah, they just introduced a bill to take away that power from the president, or to be able to override that power from the president.
I do find it really fascinating how, like, suddenly, like, there's all these new things, like, oh, hey, let's just like introduce bills and executive orders to usurp the Constitution. I mean, which they do generally, but like, I mean, that's kind of the entire function of Congress has been usurping their constitutional powers. But like, lately it's like a lot. They're like it's like very much like, hey, I know that the Constitution says this, but like, well, let's just have a little vote with the Congress people. Like, the fuck, like there's a constitutional, like, what is it called? If they want to amend the Constitution, there is a process for that, and they're not getting fucking anywhere with that. So like, I'm really astounded by the level of like no longer even pretending that they care about the Constitution. Not that they really ever did, but there was like lip service there, and now it's just gone on both sides.
Totally agree. Chris, to you. Has the presidency accumulated quasi-legislative authority?
First of all, I got to comment. I'm glad that you brought up presidential authority, because Peru impeached their president again. I mean, they've had something like 10 presidents in 8 years. I mean, this is a country where they really do. And of course, they end up arresting them. It's almost become a joke. But yeah, what's funny is Peru has actually had a relatively stable currency compared to the other ones. So I love that little country. But anyway. So, and the question was, oh crap, I forgot the question again. Definitely way too much quasi-legislative authority. I mean, I've looked more into New Hampshire. New Hampshire has the executive council, and Switzerland has something like an executive council too. So you actually have a board of executives, and they have some checks on the presidential power. I absolutely think that presidents are not supposed to be legislators, and executive orders should expire. In fact, every law passed by Congress should expire too. Everything should be sunsetted inevitably. I don't care what it is. It's absolutely ridiculous what we've got here, where the president is just making laws. And it's funny how you can have a country too where the president just gets kicked out all the time. It's they've had Yeah,
I got you.
I shouldn't say that. The law. Since 2016, no Peruvian president has served more than 3 years.
Sounds good to me.
Isn't that just wild?
Yeah.
God bless Peru.
I could go for 2 minutes, but All right, Marcus, back to you. The administrative state is the category. Is the administrative state compatible with representative government?
I think the first thing you have to believe in order to answer that question is in government. And I don't believe government is functioning currently in our society. I think government is just the literal shit show that we've seen since, pretty much George H.W. Bush, because you had the Clinton shit show. He might have been the last decent Democrat as far as fiscal policy may be concerned, because he did do right by fiscal policy. But we just have this overwhelming shit show of government right now that just does not. It's all performative. They do things for TV cameras, and I'll point out this one thing. When the first time Zelensky met with Trump and JD Vance and little Marco Rubio, where they were saying he should be saying please and thank you, and I'm not going to get into how I feel about the whole Ukraine thing, but at the end of it, a lot of people miss the fact that Trump said that was good TV. And that's where we're at right now as far as government goes. It's all about performative good TV and the visual aspect of government working for you. And it's all bullshit. Vote libertarian.
All right. Avens, to you. Has rulemaking replaced lawmaking?
Sorry, I have the cat trying to get on my.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
She decided to jump on my keyboard, and I thought that I had lost the screen for a second. I'm sorry. Has rulemaking replaced lawmaking? Was that the question?
Yes.
Yes, it has. And in fact, it's one of those like really crazy things is that just increasingly people seem to think that that law is supposed to be a bunch of rules about how we're supposed to live instead of a very like minimal basis for ensuring that we don't impose upon the freedom of one another. So yes, the short answer is yes. And here's the cat.
Oh, here we go. Chris, to you. Should agencies face automatic sunset review?
Yeah, I'm going to snapshot some of these pictures where the cattail is in front of Avens' face. I thought it was a snake from it there. Yeah. Every agency should have an occasional sunset review. I think just look and see what you can do with them. I'd say every 5 years or something like that. Yes, we'll see. Do we really need this? And of course, some of the employees will get all upset, but yeah, it's certainly sometimes I think also maybe you ought to just have an occasional hiring freeze too. That might not be a bad idea where you just say, okay, 1 year the federal government can't hire anybody. Just do that every 10 years.
Make that year a decade or maybe a century too.
Well, that was what Harry Brown said he was going to do. So he says, we'll stop hiring federal employees.
Yeah, that'd be great. Marcus, back to you. The category is congressional abdication. Has Congress deliberately delegated power to avoid accountability?
Government doesn't know what accountability is because they've never faced accountability. I actually posed this question on my boomer Facebook page.
Facebook. Yeah. I knew you were going Facebook there. What did my mom have to say about that?
I asked why don't Democrats and Republicans ask for accountability from their government? And the resounding answer was nobody wants to admit they were wrong. The thing about government is it has no incentives. Government has no accountability to you because they have a monopoly on violence. They have a monopoly on administrative justice with the quotation, if whatever that's called. If the feds come after you, they have something approaching a 90% success rate in prosecuting people. And with that being said, if you have a monopoly on violence, if you have unlimited resources in destroying people's lives, there is very little chance you're going to win. And until Americans truly understand that, until the government touches their lives, they won't understand why they need to vote for a libertarian.
Nice way to work that in there. Avens, to you, has legislative
God.
ambiguity fueled executive expansion? Oh, you're muted.
Yes. I don't even know if there's a necessary like longer explanation for that, but yes, in fact, I need to reread it because I got distracted by the cat. But yes, absolutely. And legislative, it's legislative ambiguity is just allowed, not just executive expansion, but just like it's just allowed people to think that there's just so much more that the government should be doing, or that things can be applied to like broader things, and that's a no bueno.
I agree. Chris, to you, is vague lawmaking structurally dangerous?
Yes, it is, because it ends up having the executive making laws. And of course, it just shows how useless our Congress is. I mean, it's funny because some Congresses haven't always been, they will fight the executive in some countries. Goodness knows they certainly fought Milei for the first 2 years of his administration, because he only had about 10% in each house of the party. It's so, and of course, you get back to Peru again, where they keep impeaching keep removing their presidents from office. But the American Congress is a complete joke right now. I don't know how we get it to a point where it's not a joke. I guess it's partially because it's gotten so far removed from the people. I mean, when the country was founded, a person in Congress, represented about 30,000, and now it's 800,000. It's absolutely ridiculous. And not to mention, all these idiotic 1,000-page bills that nobody reads. I mean, there's no reason why a bill should have more than 1,000 words in it, maybe 2,000, and you pass all of this separately. I mean, I don't know if there's a more broken. The American Congress is totally broken, and I don't know if it can possibly be fixed. I really don't at this point.
Totally agree. All right, last three questions of the night. To you, Marcus, the category is consent and legitimacy. Is majority rule enough to justify national mandates?
Majority rule is chaos. Majority rule is a guarantee of mob rule. And mob rule, that leads to mob violence. So with that being said, we tried the republic, because I don't think we're a republic anymore. I think we're somewhere between an oligarchy and a shit sandwich. And I'm just stuck by these people are saying, this guy won a popular vote. That doesn't mean shit to me anymore, because, and this is my pitch for ending the Department of Education. The Department of Education has produced some of the dumbest individuals that you can comprehend, because they teach people to a test and not to people that can think for themselves. They produce good workers that look at their bosses making 10 times more than them and saying, I'm doing a great job for you. Can I get a 35 cents an hour raise? And you should utilize your skill set. Whatever your skill set is, you should utilize it to your full potential. But you need to understand at the end of the day, if you're not, and this applies to me too, because I didn't learn this, being an entrepreneur is the only way to truly be successful in America. If you're a wage worker, you're a wage slave. And the majority rule is what has produced wage slaves. And that's why you should vote for libertarians, because we will reform the educational system that will bring more entrepreneurs to the table and move America forward. Vote libertarian.
I thought you were a Department of Education DEI hire. Did I get that wrong?
No, you did not. And I am proud to say that I have exploited the system to the fullest.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Avens, to you. Can consent exist without a meaningful way to opt out?
No. That's a great question. What's and the kitten again? Sorry. One of the things I like to say and I've actually said this in a couple of speeches, is I've said that libertarianism is consent culture applied to everything. And when I talk to like feminists about consent, they're always talking about how like, it has to be like enthusiastically given and all these other things. But one of the big factors is like, you have to have a way to opt out. You have to have a way to say no. And it doesn't have to be like an amazing thing. Like at the end of the day, like I'm not consenting to starvation if in a sorry, that is a much broader statement that I was going to go into, but the point is that in society there's lots of things that are less that are like on a spectrum of consent, but at the end of the day, if you have no meaningful way to say no, then you are not able to consent. And there's a great Ayn Rand quote about this. She says the force and the mind are opposite. That morality ends where a gun begins. And it's not about like guns themselves. It's about the idea that like you are deprived of your moral agency if you can't make a choice. And so if you have been deprived of your choice, there's no way for you to say no, then you are not making, then your yes doesn't count. And so, yeah, sorry, that was a much broader answer than I was going to give, but correct.
No, that's why I wrote it, because you do great talks on consent and everything. So I wanted to hear your opinion on that. So thank you. Chris, last question of the night to you. Should dissenting states be forced into compliance?
Should dissenting states be forced into compliance? Wow. This depends a lot on what the dissent is. I mean, we have too many things that are done at the federal level to begin with, so I don't really want to see, all these things dictated from the federal government, but if one state decides to, it's going to free all its murderers, and all the other 49 states say, no, we're going to leave our murderers in jail, then those murderers can go into other states and cause problems, especially. So yeah, I think there are some cases where although it can certainly get messy when that happens. By the way, Avens, have your bangs gotten longer? I don't remember seeing your bangs look like this.
Hair grows.
Yeah. I just wondered, Avens, we usually lose our hair, but you look like you're still 15 here.
I was just wondering if your bangs have gotten longer, Chris.
I want to speak for Free and I. Hair doesn't always grow, Avens, so I don't like that particular comment. So
what are you talking about? I have to cut mine all the time. All three of them grow.
It's funny, actually. Sorry, this is completely off topic, but I just made an appointment to get my hair cut because this is way too long for me. And I looked, and the last time I got my hair cut was in September. And so I'm really looking forward to getting my hair cut on Friday, because this is too long and it needs to get trimmed.
Sweet.
I can't help but notice, but now that I start taking, I get this little ear hair that is like impossible to get to. I really notice it now since
Chris, you're gonna lose points. Stop.
They have clippers for that. All right, enter your scores in the chat if you haven't done so already. Yeah. Let's jump into the chat one more time here. Absolutely rigged. Minus 100 to Marcus because somebody rigged the scoreboard. 100 to Chris because he didn't just get to hang out with us this weekend, and that's putting him at an inside joke disadvantage. That's true. He didn't see Marcus in the parking lot and all the shenanigans he was up to in the parking lot. Minus 100 to Marcus. I never received my card. There we go. 100 to everyone since Larry Sharp is going to be on. Oh, I put this back on here because I forgot to give a shout out to Larry Sharp, who's running for governor in New York. He's also going to be in the Republican primary. So if you're registered as a Republican, you can vote for him there. So good luck to Larry Sharp. He's one of the best in our movement. Yeah. 200 to Marcus for the JFK shout out. He was the last America First president and paid a dear price for it.
Yeah.
Minus 100 to Marcus. No mention of rigged elections. Great job, chat. We just went over 500 with all the problems. You are awesome. Thank you. Yeah, tons of thanks, chat. You guys make this show what it is. 200 to Avens. Clarification explained perfectly. 200 to Avens. I paid them to leave. She's specifically talking about Marcus there. 200 to Avens for answering Marcus's question. We were all waiting for that all night. 200 to Avens, inherent power. She brought the receipts. That's true. Yeah, the exit update helped people. But also, if you guys don't mind resharing this again to see if we can get more people to see this, because this was a fun one. 200 Marcus, executive orders usurp other branches of the government. 200 Avens, damn right. 200 Marcus, explain the primary process beautifully. 500 Avens, of course, Ross comes to mind when we think about pardons. Yeah, thank God Ross is free. Might be the only thing we got out of that whole shenanigan.
Yep.
100 to Chris, rubber stamps, no, and sunset is necessary when used. 200 for all the bullshit, Marcus. I mean, Marcus's answers are pretty much all that.
Wow.
200 points for the kitty tail and the camera for Avens. 200 to Chris for federal hiring freezes. 200 Marcus, political theater. 200 Marcus, the government has a monopoly on violence. Minus 200 to Avens for being muted. You knew that was coming. Over 600. Thank you. You guys are the best. Absolutely agree. 100 to me because the questions are great. Thank you.
Horse Pucky.
I write them all myself. 100 to Terry because she's great. I'll take the over. She deserves more than that.
Yeah.
200 to Chris, no more than 1,000 words per bill. I like that idea. 200 Avens for great answers and thanking gracious hosts. 200 Marcus for acknowledging our government is a shit sandwich. Definitely closer to shit sandwich than oligarchy, but I think that was a good one. 100 to the audience. Yeah, the audience is amazing. 200 to Marcus for the shit sandwich and the DOE downfalls, being a living example of the DOE downfalls. 200 to Marcus for unironically calling us slaves. 200 Avens, no doesn't mean no if you can't say no. 200 Avens, consent explained. 200 Avens for the Ayn Rand reference. 200 Chris, I haven't been giving him enough points. Minus 50 to Marcus, free has beautiful hair. Yeah, we know where that came from. Minus 200 Chris for the ear hair. Yeah, we knew you were gonna lose points for the ear hair. 100 to Avens for the cats. 100 to Marcus for good answers. That's not true. 100 to all the guys to make up for the lack of hair.
Thank you, my dear.
I got more hair than the other two combined, and I can't say that very often.
Hey, I didn't grow mine out. I've given up. And we'll go back to ear hair because your hair, you don't really lose hair, or it just gravitates.
Yeah,
I muted you. I muted you on that one. I didn't want to hear about your ear hair. 100 to everyone since I mentioned Larry Sharp. Yeah, he's amazing. 200 to Avens for saying freeze questions are great. And 50K to Terry because of the Dow. The Dow. I like that. I like that. The Dow's at 50K. All right, let's check out the scoreboard. It is close. Let's see what happened here. And I forgot to do the drum roll. I should find the drum roll really quick. There we go. We got the drum roll, and it is Avens jumps back into the lead, 4,022. Marcus with 3,906 pity points, and Chris in third with 2,199. Chris, first time on the show, you came in third place. What did you think? Oh,
he's muted. He's muted.
You're muted. You would have lost points for that.
Seems like I always ended up with the harder questions. I remember thinking, boy, I wish I'd had these people's questions. But oh well.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Marcus, second place, mostly pity points. What do you think so far? Or what did you think of the show?
I predicted who was going to win. And if I'm going to lose to anybody, it needs to be my fellow citizen of the fourth largest economy in the world.
Oh, here we go.
And somebody who I call Avens is just a great soul. And I don't mind losing to her tonight, long as it wasn't Casey or Yates or any of those guys I competed against before, I'm fine with it because Avens, I truly love her as a sister in the Liberty movement, and she does great work, and I salute her. So it's not a salty loss for me tonight. I'll take my silver medal.
All right. Avens, first place again. What did you think?
Well, it was a good show. I did bring the cats, and remember, Chris, when the questions are hard, you got to just like go with one, like just repeat principles that everybody loves and bring a little humor here and there. In carefully injecting the word fuck periodically seems to help. Bringing drugs always seems to be a win here. So I think we've learned what the audience is looking for, and that's part of the game. But hold on, wait. But then we got Kitty. She's gonna purr into the mic. I can't tell if you guys can hear her, but
you can hear it. Yeah,
she is purring. But no, I love being here. And you know what I think though is that maybe this is, but it'd be really funny if like after all those points are accumulated, you did like the Dumbledore at the end of every like book of Harry Potter, where you're like, well, I'd also like to add 10 points to Gryffindor for Neville Longbottom for kind of being a fuck up, but we love him. And 20 points, 200 points to, Gryffindor for this because Slytherin can't win, just like, I'm just saying you could Dumbledore this shit. And the fact that you don't probably is a testament to your lack of corruption, but it's also not as funny. So I'm just giving you that feedback.
What house are you, Avens?
Oh, I'd probably be a Slytherin because ambition. I am ambitious, and I really think we need to reclaim Slytherin. I think we need to bring back like good Slytherinism.
What are we even talking about here?
Can I say
Harry
one
Potter
thing though?
houses. What house is Melee? What house is Melee? And that's the better question.
In all fairness,
The poor house is Argentina.
Yeah. Avens is actually one of the hosts of the Black Powder podcast. She just too damn busy to come on a regular basis.
True.
So
I'm so
the Black
busy.
Powder podcast still wins.
All right. I added Terry back here. Terry, what'd you think?
Yeah, what a night. I mean, really, what a night. You guys did a really good job. Like a huge shout out to the chat. I just can't tell you guys how amazing you were tonight because there were a lot of issues going on all over the place. And of course I have to do this update free because it's phenomenal. For those of you that know about House Bill 3119 in the state of Oklahoma, that is my daughter-in-law's bill, and her and I have been working hard on it. So what we have to update you on is 25, you guys, 25 more medical freedom bills have band together with us for the February 24th rally in Oklahoma to try to get Oklahoma to come through and actually do some real medical freedom. And thank you for allowing me to shout that out. And
Of course.
do you want to know about Friday night?
Yes.
I'll be there Friday night.
You'll be there Friday night. Are you sure?
Yep.
You're positive. It's in Florida, because we're going to the Florida convention, which should be a great time. We will have to see. But Free's going to be there, so everybody needs to go. I'm sure Amity's going to be there.
That's true.
I'm not sure I'm going to be there. I might change my mind between now and then. Who knows?
It's Friday.
Yeah. Well, the two most beautiful women that will be there will be Terry and Amity. I'll just say that right there.
That's true. All right. You can follow Chris on X at Fountainhead FM and check out his podcast, Fountainhead Forum, on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify. You can check out Marcus's podcast Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, and follow him on X at Black Powder Pod. And Avens is the co-founder of Advanced Mycology. That's advancedmyco.com. And you can follow her on X at Avens O'Brien. Appreciate you all being here. Appreciate the chat. Let me just get a couple more comments from the chat really quick. Wes says, wait, I'm the only real libertarian. Casey wanted to point out that Dow still isn't back over 50K. And Mark's here. What's up, Mark? He does the If by Whiskey podcast, and he said congratulations to Avens. And I also want to point out that you can follow me and Terry on X. I am at Smarter Game Show. She is Bats T76. Our swag is at freedomsuperstore.com. Check out the shorts from this episode at Freedom Uncut on YouTube. And check us out at the conventions. Florida this weekend, then Virginia, North Carolina in March, Texas in April, and then the National Convention in Grand Rapids in May. And check out the Are You Smarter Than a Politician fundraiser for You Are the Power. That is March 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you again to all of our subscribers. If you want to subscribe to us on X, help us out, help us keep putting out a good product. And if you want to sponsor us, studio@freedomuncut.com. And you guys hang out for a second and I will end this. Appreciate you all. Hopefully see some of you at Florida this weekend, and